What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider. I am joined, as always, by the one and only Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am awesome, but tell no one.
You just told everybody.
Let them guess.
Okay. Well, to the audience, you'll keep that a secret. You'll keep that a secret. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret.
Don't tell anyone. I am awesome.
Us and everybody else that's listening. But
right. We're about to find out who can keep a secret now.
We'll see. But we
I
also
am good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Excited about this episode. Excited to hear some of the opinions that we're going to hear about this this interesting piece of Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's call it a film for right now. We'll see if it's anything more than that once we get into our analysis and our review of it. But we have some guests with us this week. We have Mrs. VIP, Keisha Washington. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm good. Excited to talk about this film.
And rounding out our panel this week, we have Mrs. Spider, Michelle. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Also excited to talk about this film.
It's wonderful to have the both of you back. If you all, for
Happy
our audience,
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to the ladies.
Happy Mother's Day to the ladies, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are across the world. It is a job that goes without enough thank yous and gratitudes. It is cherished. I called my family and said Happy Mother's Day, and they said, "Who is this?"
I don't know you.
So
where did you get this number?
That's a whole nother conversation for a later time. But we are here to speak about who, Spider?
We are here to speak about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. If you didn't know, this is All Things Super, where every week we react, review, and recap movies, TV shows, and trailers all related to the superhero genre, and we ask the question, is it super? But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness just released this past weekend, and we've all seen it. So we're going to do a little roundtable. We're going to talk about our thoughts. We're going to talk about our feelings. We're going to see what our general overview of the movie was. And then we're going to get into some full spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie yet, if you've been debating on whether or not you want to go see it, you might want to listen to our spoiler-free section. Then take your judgments from there. If you want to go see it, go check it out. Then come back and check out the full spoiler section. If you don't care either way, then you can just kind of stick around. You can hear all the spoilers. All right? But we are going to start with Keisha. What did you think about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?
So first, the last time I was here, I have to take back something I said. I said that Marvel would not make the Scarlet Witch stronger than because of the ego. Mm-hmm. So I have to take that back. But I did love the movie. I did love the movie. It was super to me, and I feel like everybody should go watch it. I think it was executed real well. It had some issues, but overall, go see it. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I did not fall asleep not one single time. And I got a lot of, oh my God, I was like loud. I think there was a person telling me to shh in the movie.
Listen,
was that person Frankie?
Yeah.
This is the part.
Yeah.
This is the part from the trailer.
I think at this point, since Infinity War, MCU movies have become more of a spectacle than just a movie that you go to see, and audience reactions are a part of that spectacle. So I don't think anybody who's going into an MCU movie should expect everyone to be absolutely silent throughout the whole film. I think we've evolved beyond that when it comes to MCU movies, that there are going to be parts where people are going to have these gasps, they're going to have a verbal reaction. So whoever was in the theater, you shush Keisha. Just go ahead and...
No, they shushed me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whoever shushed her, go ahead and reevaluate your life. Get your priorities in order.
Especially in the opening week. It's always like that. The opening week,
Yeah,
you're always gonna have those
especially the
fans.
opening week. Yeah.
Clearly, you're in the wrong theater.
You're in the wrong
Right,
theater.
you're in the wrong theater. Go see I don't
it's
know.
just me.
Go see some French independent film or something if you want quiet.
Exactly. Go see
But see,
Quiet
but
Place.
I can't speak French.
No offense to the French, but you know,
Yeah.
your films are wildly different than an MCU film. But
Yeah.
Michelle,
It was good.
what did you think
Yes.
of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?
I loved it. It was a lot darker than most Marvel films, but I think that also added to the effect and excitement of it too. It was something you weren't expecting. Like, I know a lot of people came in with high hopes that they were gonna kind of put too much into the movie at once, but they really didn't. So, spoiler free and all that, but
All right.
but no, it's a really good movie. Definitely recommend it.
Glowing reviews from the ladies. We'll go to you, Mr. VIP Frankie Washington. What did you think?
No, you can't go to me because I don't know how to do nothing spoiler free. Listen, go
All you have
watch
to
the
do,
movie.
give me a single answer. Did you like the movie?
Did you like the movie?
It was magical.
It really was. It really was.
It was magical. I'll leave it at that.
I'm ready to have a
Leave
conversation.
it at that. There was magic in the movie. There was magic in there. Spider.
I agree with everybody. It was a really good movie. It was a really good movie. There were a lot of, even though there were fucking like 20 trailers that came out before the movie was released. After there was a point to where I just had to stop watching the trailers because it was just like I don't need to see anything else, because ideally the point of a trailer is to generate interest in the movie. So when you put out a trailer, for example, the Thor Love and Thunder trailer, we have been waiting on the Thor Love and Thunder trailer just to see a glimpse of what we could get in the movie for Thor Love and Thunder. Once we got the trailer, like, all right, I'm excited. This looks amazing. So we got the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer, we got the teaser trailer, then we got the full trailer, then we got TV spots, we got the Super Bowl spot, then we got up into the weeks of the release just more and more and more and more.
There
And
was
I'm like,
a
all right.
flash. There was a teaser. There was a this is the behind the scenes. So the movie's not even out yet.
Right.
Yeah, but we're gonna show you behind the scenes. And I was like, why? Why are we doing this? But
Yeah.
I'm thankful that they did it because you have a lot more footage you can use when you know doing things that we're doing, cutting and
Right.
pasting and pasting and cutting and entertaining the masses that we can get away with legally. So thanks, Marvel.
Yeah, but after a certain point, I just had to kind of stop watching the trailers because I was like, all right, I'm already in. I know I want to see it. I don't need to have anything else kind of just like thrown at me. I already know I want to see it. Just everything else, I want to be surprised. And I was surprised. I was thoroughly surprised. Just like Keisha said, there were many moments where I gasped. I was excited. I was just like, oh, you know, I had a verbal reaction. It is a very entertaining movie. Like Michelle said, it's a lot darker than previous MCU films, a lot of previous MCU properties.
Disney's Marvel?
Right. So we're like, are they really allowing them to do this? And credit to the director,
Yes.
Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi has a reputation of directing horror films. And has this sort of niche to him about how he likes to frame his scenes to kind of build up that suspense, which we don't have an MCU horror film. And I think that this was probably the closest that we were going to get because, you know, people like the superhero genre to be happy, be uplifting, be encouraging. And at the end of the day, this was a lot different than our previous films that we've seen. But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like you said, it's not like it was without some issues as all MCU films have. But overall, I would definitely go see it again. I encourage everyone to go see it. If you're a fan of the MCU, if you follow the MCU at any point up until this point, it is a great it's a great film to see. It's a great addition to the MCU roster of films. I would definitely encourage everyone to go see it.
It felt like a great standalone film. If you never watched WandaVision or the previous Doctor Strange, it was really good just by itself, which I like too. Yeah, it was really
See, I
good
could also
vibe.
disagree with that because I feel like you need that previous knowledge of the Doctor Strange and WandaVision to understand the movie
Yeah.
as well. So
Are we past non-spoiler sections?
From this point forward,
we go.
we are going
Here we
to,
go.
it's full spoilers, our full spoiler review since Mr. VIP Frankie Washington is chomping at the bit. Go ahead, sir. Say what you want to say. Get it out. Full spoilers from here on out.
I love you.
Yes, I love the audience.
This the timestamp is here. Spoilers from this point on. Here it goes. Okay, so Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Like Mrs. Washington said that he wasn't gonna let Wanda cut loose. Wanda cut loose. Wanda cut loose. I'm talking about she did not hold back. What she did to Professor Xavier?
What she did to all of them.
She just mopped the floor.
Wanda said, "Fuck all y'all."
She said she was being reasonable, baby.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day,
That was her being reasonable.
She was trying
Don't
to
play
be
with Mama.
reasonable.
Don't play with Mama. Mama was coming for her children, and she was not stopping. If you was in her way, you were an obstacle. I love how they spent it because we thought that was blood that was actually on her through the trailers, and it was actually oil from the Ultron bots. That was nice. I liked the transitions. I loved all of the whole movie, but I think Wanda stole the show. She was
Absolutely.
She said, "I was being nice."
She said I was being reasonable.
Like,
She
up
said,
until this
if
point,
the
I was
Scarlet
being
Witch
reasonable.
comes- Yes. I said the monsters. I didn't come for her myself.
Right.
Exactly.
That's some Thanos type shit. They're like Black Order.
It shows that she is kind of unhinged about this situation.
It was like a mama. Don't make me get up.
Don't make me.
Don't make me
Don't
get
make
up.
me get up. Like, look,
When
I'm
she
telling you.
got up, Wanda knocked out a whole school of wizards. I'm sorry, sorcerers without a hat.
Yes.
She knocked out a whole fleet of them. Did you see how she got in the mind of the young man? It was like,
One.
All she needed was one.
Did one, and he went
All
and
she
fucked
needed was
everything up.
one. He was not a strong
Should
mind.
hit everyone on the way out.
You cannot put
And then
an
the thing I
army
like-
of students up against the Scarlet Witch. It's no, they were not prepared for that.
I because I enjoyed WandaVision so much, and we saw what she did with Westview. It still wasn't a full manifestation of all her powers, and even in this movie, I think it wasn't all of them.
No,
but
it's
we got
still
to
not.
see, we got to see how truly powerful and dangerous she could be.
Yeah.
Which is, I felt like they were kind of holding back, because even in WandaVision, she was very reasonable. Like, she was being nice. Like, I'm just controlling you, manipulating you a little bit. Oh, you can't do things for yourself. But she was literally deadly. Like, I love that about this film. She was truly able to, like...
She was like, I'm done holding back. Like, I'm getting what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
You think about it in WandaVision when Hayward sent the drone in to go spy on her, and she caught the drone. She literally dragged the drone outside the hex and just threw it back at him like, look, leave me alone. I'm not bothering anybody else. Let me have my life, and I'll be fine. And then she
It's
went
just
back
one little
in.
town. Like,
Right.
leave me alone.
Just stop bothering me. I didn't send for you, so don't come for me.
Come for me.
And she went back in. But yeah, no, it's the way that they framed it, and because even though clearly they framed Wanda to be the villain of this movie, right? But the one thing that I enjoy about some of the greatest MCU films, you have your Black Panther, you have Civil War, you have Infinity War, right? Some of the greatest MCU films are driven by villains who you can relate to, who make a point to what they're doing is something that you can understand. You know, like you have some villains in some superhero movies, it's like, oh, I just want to take over the world. I'm like, well, why? Why do you want world domination? What are you going to do with all that power? Like what's your motivation, right? And we saw in Black Panther, Killmonger was like, I grew up in the streets. I saw how the world failed us. So now that I know that there's this country that has resources that could potentially help save our people, yeah, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make sure that I help out our people. It's like, okay, I can relate to that, you know. And
he was royal bloodline.
Right, he was a royal bloodline. In Civil War, you had Zemo is like, I lost my family because the Avengers basically turned my entire country upside down. So I'm going to tear the Avengers apart from within. And to date, he is like Zemo and Thanos, so the only two MCU villains that actually succeeded in what they set out to do.
Hold on, he won't be alone.
He won't be alone. But then, in Thanos was like, I am. Yes, I want to obliterate half the universe, but it's for a purpose of survival. It's like we are as sentient beings throughout the universe, we are constantly using up resources. We are living a lifestyle that is not sustainable. So in order to preserve a lifestyle that we can all flourish, not just some people, not just the wealthy, not just a certain race or a certain species, all people to be able to survive, we have to cut it in half. That's the only way we'll be able to survive like that. And it's like, okay, well, you're kind of making sense. Like, I don't agree with your methods, but I understand your logic. And with Wanda, it's like, how can you deny someone who had the love and the joy of being with her children and they're taken away from her? Can you really be mad at her for wanting her children back? It's like, yes, I don't agree with the way that you went about doing it. You're killing people, you know, you're destroying lives essentially, but I understand, you know, your reasoning behind it. I understand your purpose behind it. And just that, to me, just makes for such a much more enjoyable movie because, yes, we understand the heroes and the protagonists and why they need to stop this person, but we also understand the motivation behind the antagonist and what she's doing.
Perfectly said.
And it was when Doctor Strange told her her kids weren't real. I was just like, not him coming for her.
Wanda's one-liners. It's like, your kids were made with magic. All kids are made with magic.
I just want to shout out how great Maria Rambeau looked. It was really kind of awesome to see her too.
Oh, yeah.
And then Wanda shredding
Mr. Fantastic.
Made him a Stretch Armstrong silly string.
It
was like string cheese pulling him apart.
Like, y'all wanted John Krasinski's in this role, right? Well, guess what?
Poor Jim.
Kill him. Give you what you want and take it away. I'm like, why, Marvel?
It was like destroying him to the atom of exactly what he's made of. It was just so crazy seeing him literally unravel. It was kind of cool.
Nobody on that panel.
Captain Carter was good seeing her because I hadn't seen her since What If, so that was really kind of cool too.
And before they get Steve Rogers in What If, sliced in
half.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh.
The fact that they let us see all of that, you know, for the most part. Of course, we didn't see Captain Carter get sliced in half, but we got to see Mr. Fantastic get unraveled. We got to see Black Bolt blow his own brains out. To
Professor X get his mind.
Professor X. Black Bolt. She did the Matrix. And just when you thought, oh yeah, I seen this in the Matrix, boom! Like what? What is going on? It's mad.
There, with the theater that we were in, because we went and saw it on Thursday night, and we saw, you know, the whole panel of Illuminati. Of course, everyone's excited to see Captain Carter. Everybody would see Maria as Captain Marvel. Everybody was excited to see Jim as Mr. Fantastic, and of course, we knew Professor X was coming out. But the thing that made me excited was when Professor X came out and the music cue from the animated X-Men cartoon. That's what made me excited and made me actually like, oh my god, that's what set me up.
That's exactly.
But the thing about it is just that we see all of that, and so that's our MCU cameos. Our MCUs, they always have those surprise cameos, but what they went above and beyond they didn't shy away from allowing us to see Black Bolt die. They didn't shy away from us seeing Captain Marvel die. They didn't, shy away from you heard Captain Carter get sliced in half. We didn't see the shield, but we knew what happened. We saw Wanda throw that shield. We knew exactly what happened. Mr. Fantastic getting shredded. And
I don't
then
think she could have caught it with her hand.
No, there was nothing
And
that she
Rambo
could have
getting
done.
Smashed by the pillar
By the
or whatever
statue,
it was.
yeah.
Statue, yeah.
And
Do you
then
really think she died though? You think she kind of just was unconsciously knocked out?
Maria Rambo.
Maria Rambo.
They did.
I think she's dead. I think she's dead.
And
But
Professor X getting his neck snapped in his mind. Like,
how do you get your neck snapped telepathically? How do you get a telepathic neck snap?
I think if Maria
Wanda can do it. Wanda got her ways.
It made her really smart. Like even when he trapped her in all the mirrors, she used the reflection to get out. Like there was not. She slowly started showing you what her powers were.
Yeah, like she started learning and realizing what she could do.
Yeah, what she could
How
do. It's like I didn't even know she could do that.
Exactly.
When she crawled out and she was like snapping and
oh my god.
Oh,
that was like horror movie type shit right there.
Yeah, that was like the Ring. He coming out of the TV.
Yeah, TV. Yes.
Let's go ahead and put this on record and say we are in the darkest times of the MCU. Right?
We are. We really are.
Between the blood and Moon Knight, the horror that was in Wanda and Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange, and Thanos getting his head sliced off.
Yeah.
This ain't Snow White in the Seven Dwarfs. This is Welcome to Marvel.
And that was my biggest worry about some of these characters is that, you can't PG-13 them. We have to,
no,
you
can't.
To show the power that she has. It had to be in this bloody glory sense, and I'm glad they did it that way because I loved unraveling the powers that I'm like, I didn't even know she could do that. Can she do that? Like,
right.
In reality.
So it was really cool to see her kind of actually figure out her way out of things. Certain things were she was trying to figure herself out of it. It wasn't like automatic, right. It's like, how do I get out of this? Okay. So I really like that aspect of it too. Her finding a way out. Like when she came out of the, what do you call those gongs that you hit? She came out of that shit. I was like,
oh yeah.
How? It was actually
Mark
really
Spector
cool.
wish he could do that.
Yeah.
He's just stuck in the reflection. He's stuck in the mirror.
All his energy just to be a fly on the wall. He said that himself. Here's a question. If America Chavez did not expose Wanda, you forgot she was even in the movie. If she did not show Wanda exactly the monster that she became, would there have been anyone that could have stopped her?
No,
I think Marvel is doing a lot of that. They did it with Vision. They're doing it with Wanda. They did it with it's like the only person that can stop you is you. What was that Superman one you made me watch? Or Superman DC? I'm sorry, I'm shying away, but it's like the only person that can beat somebody this powerful is themselves. They did it with White Vision and the other Vision, and now they're doing it with Wanda and herself because there is nobody that can fight her but her. You know what I mean? There's nobody. She literally killed the entire Illuminati.
Right.
The only other person I feel that could bring her down or beat her would have been herself, which I kind of foresaw as soon as I started watching it. By the way, I just want to say that.
Give you some pat on the back on that one. Yeah, because I mean, the whole what's they call it? I can't think of the term. The MacGuffin. That one thing that you have to get in a film that is supposed to turn the whole movie on its head. They were going for the Book of Ashanti. And it was like, this gives the sorcerer what they need to defeat whoever they need to defeat. They got there. They got to the book. Wanda showed up. Boom. Burned. Now what you gonna do? And it's like, no, there was nothing that Doctor Strange could have done. Because even if, as we saw at the beginning of the movie, they called him Defender Strange with the ponytail and everything. He was about to take America's powers for himself just so that monster couldn't get it. But even if that was the case, Wanda would have just came after him. And we saw that clearly that there was nothing that Doctor Strange could do. So even if he took her powers, there's no defense against Wanda. Wanda was going to figure out a way to get it eventually. So yeah, like you said, there was nobody. There was no other person that could have did anything.
I don't even want to borrow money from Wanda. Like, I don't want to owe Wanda no favors.
No sugar.
No. I don't want to borrow no sugar. Like, I don't want to piss you off at all. Like, I'm cutting your grass for you. So I'm just
You're going to cut it wrong, and then she's still going to come after you.
Exactly.
I don't even want to walk by her house. Like,
like, look, you know what? Wanda is my next door neighbor. All I got to do is go this way to get out of the subdivision. You know what? I'm going around the other way. I'm going around the block. I'm going to take a long way around.
Right. I am not even speaking to your kids, let alone you just. I don't want none of your problems.
I was not a huge fan of America Chavez. I don't know if I'm not. I don't know if these tween kids. Like, I get it. They're going for the Young Avengers and they're setting it up. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm just not a fan of tween girls. I just don't know. Like she was my least favorite part of the show. I feel like if she wasn't there, the movie still was great. Like, you cut out all her scenes, it was still a good movie.
It's very true.
Yeah, I mean, I know that she had the power, she was chasing and all that, but it was just like, if anybody else could have played this character, she didn't really do it for me in terms of like bringing something extra to the movie.
Yeah.
It was just really, I think maybe introducing her on a different level would have been good, and maybe I got to know her a little more. But I just feel like in the movie, she just kind of got lost in all the Wanda stuff. It was just an extension of WandaVision, and that's what I was here for. Yeah. I was not here for America Chavez, but she was my least favorite part of the movie.
She was a bad MacGuffin.
And I think that because there's one thing that we brought up in our Moon Knight episodes is that when we look at all of these different Disney Plus shows, we had WandaVision, we had Loki, we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we had Hawkeye, we had What If. The majority of these shows, the majority of the characters that were presented in these shows were characters that we were familiar with already. And now we have this show, Moon Knight, a brand new character, brand new storyline. There was nothing to preface Moon Knight before going into the show. And so one of the things that we were talking about was that, is this something that we can get behind because it's a character that we don't know? And so I think that, not to discredit America Chavez or the actor that played her, I think that if we put any character in that position where we have a Doctor Strange versus Wanda Maximoff movie, any other characters that you put in, that you introduce that we haven't already become familiar with, I think it would have been the same way. I don't think you think that was because it was a teenage girl. Do you think that was the detriment to it?
I think it was just her. I think if you would put Jubilee in there, it would have been a different conversation.
I don't know. I think for anybody who's not familiar with Jubilee,
I feel that way about Black Widow. I feel like I didn't know very much about
Jubilee would not have done.
Elena?
I want to say
Elena, but I loved her character.
The character of America Chavez is great. I'm sorry, she just didn't deliver what was necessary to deliver.
I think they didn't give her a lot to do, and I think that was the problem. They made her seem like she was so important. She was the driving force as to what Wanda's motivation was and to getting that power. But then she's basically like
she was useless almost. Like she doesn't know how to control her powers. So we're like, we're gonna make you important, but you don't know what you're doing. So
you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Right. And she was basically
everybody killed.
Right. She was basically a plot device. She was the plot device to get them from one universe to the next.
Mm-hmm. You got Dr. X killed. Like, whoop. Come on now. I need you to get it together.
Damn, that's cool.
Yes. I just did not. I just felt like it was just like all of this, and you have powers. Can you beam us up, Scotty? Can you do something? Like, get us out of here.
She had a lot of potential if they at least again maybe being able to use your powers but not control them fully. But the fact that they're like, oh, she doesn't know how to use her powers at all. It only just happens when she's super afraid. It was kind of just she's just there, like you were saying, as a plot device.
Yeah.
And a transportation mode from one university to the other is
Pretty
essentially
much.
all
She was a bus. She was literally a bus. She got her from one universe to the next.
I love that.
Like they tried throwing in a little bit when like, she stepped on the memory thing. Like, oh yeah, here's what happened to her parents. Like, and then it was just like, okay, never mind, we're done with that. Cool, whatever. Yeah. And it was like, you're gonna throw all that on us and then just go back to her being a bus. Like,
yeah.
it's like a bus has a pass, and then that's it.
She's not even a good bus with the AC. Like, good Lord.
It's one of those old school buses that like no AC.
She was a school bus. She was a school bus. The windows don't open. There's no seat belts. Half the seats are falling apart.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for somebody to be so important and all these very important characters that we were waiting so long to see and we were excited to see, and then for all of them to die, it just felt like I wish they would have did a little more with her, discovering her powers, figuring out, helping her a little bit.
But yeah, no, like you were saying, like they waited until the very end to show her learning how to use her powers. It's like you couldn't have done that in the middle of the movie at least, or like when they were prepping everyone to fight, like just give her a little rundown or something. I don't know. Just maybe like a quick little lesson on like, hey, let's try and figure this out before she gets here, instead of waiting until the very end. And it's like
that star punch was so weak to me.
It was. Discovering it, like.
I seen Sailor Moon throw a stronger punch than that. Shit.
Yeah.
I seen the Powerpuff Girls hit harder than that. Come on, man.
I think that was a bad direction into the CGI or whatever. I think they should have had her actually like hitting something, because you tell a person to throw a punch, like just punch the air. You know, if you don't have somebody with you don't give them good direction on how to do it, then you know there's just that's really all you get.
Talk to Mr. Raimi for that, but clearly he had his mind focused on killing Professor Xavier. That was brutal.
No, he had his mindset on just Wanda doing a whole bunch of jump scares, like when they were in that tunnel. And before I know you got something that you want to say. Let's talk about this scene for a second. They're in the tunnel. They're running away from Wanda. They're shutting all the doors behind them. Wanda's blowing through all the doors. They shut this fourth door. And then all of a sudden they decide to stop, because they brought the water. They brought the water down.
Chill there.
Then they shut the door, and it's like they just stopped. Like they've been running this whole time because Wanda has been blowing through all the doors. What gave them the inclination that she wasn't going to blow through that next door? Why would they just sit there?
I thought the water was going to melt her like it does with witches. Water melts witches. So they're like, water, she's melted. We're good now. We can just chill for a second, catch our breath.
They were like. Dr. Strange read for the first time that said blast door, and he was like, let's take a pause right now. It's a blast door.
And they waited for so long. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
He was
Here's a question, and I'm gonna make this a big question and a little question. Dr. Strange actually played second fiddle in his own movie.
He really did.
Wanda took the show and rightfully so, she was the most powerful one. They said she was more powerful than him in WandaVision. Why didn't he do the same thing that he did with Loki, which was put Wanda in a pocket dimension? Remember when Loki was falling for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, can she rewrite all that too? I would think there's nothing that contain her.
I think that's no. Well, he didn't put her in a pocket dimension, but he did try to trap her in a mirror dimension when they were in Carmitage. That's when he tried to put her in a mirror dimension, and she found a way out through the reflections. So to your point, it didn't seem like he made much of a conscious effort after that to try to trap her in any type of different dimensions. But if he did like make that realization, like, okay, well, obviously that's not going to work. They didn't make that known in the movie. They didn't make that like a visual realization of him not being able to trap her.
Yeah. And then there were so many things that she did after being trapped and getting out through the reflection, and then dream walking.
Mm-hmm. I love dream walking.
I do too. And I think he starts realizing that she is, she's been dabbling in the Darkhold, and I guess knowing what the Darkhold is, he probably realized, and there's no exposition on it, but realized that there's more that she can possibly do that he probably won't have any control over.
He admit he's out of his element. Yeah. He was gonna lose. He's already admitted that. He said, I can't stop him.
Doctor Strange. I was a huge fan.
Zombie
Zombie Strange.
Zombie
Yeah.
Strange.
with the motivational talk.
See, like, the way they
face
have him as a
missing?
zombie, it reminded me of the same zombie from what's it called? That one Halloween movie, Hocus Pocus. Remember the zombie guy in Hocus Pocus? When I first saw him, I'm like, he looks exactly like the zombie from there.
He does. He really does.
I'm like, is this like the frame of zombies now? Like, he was a good zombie in Hocus Pocus, but like.
I'm a fan of zombie Doctor Strange. I really was. Even his little wink.
With the wink.
I'm over the winks. I like Zombie Strange, but I'm over the winks. I'm over the winks.
I mean, half his face is gone.
It was
Right.
like he was talking to her. I could not take his little motivation speech seriously because I kept looking into his mouth.
Right.
Like,
Gotta believe in yourself. I believe in you.
What?
Like,
Yeah.
all right,
how does
believe
that
in getting
motivate
your
this young
face
girl
fixed.
again?
Like, you couldn't just like use some of that demon stuff to cover this up. Or
Put some
just
spackle on that
use them
cheek.
for all these games, right?
I did also realize that where Third Eye Strange was looked kind of like where Nathaniel Richards was. Not is that his name? Kane the Conqueror
Kane.
was. It looked
Yeah.
like his kind of from
Oh,
Loki. Kind
yeah,
of looked
yeah.
like his little. Remember when he was looking outside? His world was in all that
Yeah,
turmoil.
the what was it? The Citadel.
The Citadel, yeah. It kind of looked something like
Yeah,
that
they
too. I was
kind of
like,
resembled the places a little bit. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
There is. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was just something. I don't know because
Very
I know that
low-key about where he
universe.
was.
Yeah, there was that universe that they went to where we saw, kind of reminiscent of what happened in What If when Doctor Strange was trying to like remove that nexus point of Christine dying and how he caused the I can't think of what they called it.
Incursion.
Yeah, it caused an incursion and started having the universe itself kind of melt. And just being like the Sanctum being so far removed from the city. Because normally the Sanctum is just like in downtown New York, right? And so
Yeah,
in
it's
that
on Bleecker
universe,
Street.
yeah, and so in that universe, the Sanctum was like all the way far removed. It was isolated, it was by itself. So yeah, kind of looking up that top floor, that top story, and kind of looking out that. Yeah, it did kind of reminisce of them being in the Citadel and kind of seeing the sacred timeline outside the window and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get that.
It gave me that vibe.
What are we thinking about Doctor Strange not being responsible? Like everything that he learned from Doctor Strange 1
He
and
didn't learn shit.
Endgame, and he's the same guy.
Yeah, he's the same guy.
I love the fact that they brought it to his attention, in which they seem like everybody since the snap has been saying, was it the only way?
Right.
And he's constantly having to defend himself like it was the only way. Was it though? And it's like they gave you just enough to make you think it could have possibly been another way.
This is the only way he survived.
Yeah,
and
it does
here's
seem
the
like there were some
asshole.
selfish parts in
So,
it. Yeah.
so
he was
if
the first Doctor Strange. Yeah, he's grown. This new Doctor Strange that's in this movie is not Doctor Strange from the first Doctor Strange. It really isn't.
What makes you say that?
Just his interaction with America Chavez, just how he was actually susceptible to like the redhead Christine. Just everything about him just seemed a little different and more humble. That's the word I'm gonna say. I think I want to go
you
with.
saying
Like,
he's less
yeah.
arrogant?
Yeah,
He
and I
was
feel
very
like his
less arrogant
interactions
in this
with like
movie,
Avengers.
yes.
I feel like his
Yeah.
interactions with the Avengers, like Tom Holland, Peter Parker, and all of that, that kind of helped a little bit with that too.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
He
I can see
definitely
that.
remembers Spider-Man.
You're right.
So we
Multiple
know
times, they're
we know
friends.
how the memory spell did not affect him, even though he was like, "Good knowing you, Spider-Man." And
Well, here's
Why would
the
you say that if you
thing.
can remember?
The thing about it is that not that the spell made people forget Spider-Man existed. It made them
Forget
forget
who
that
Spider-Man
Peter
is.
Parker existed because
Yeah.
everybody forgot about Peter Parker because
Facts.
Spider-Man's still a hero. Spider-Man's still running around saving people in New York, but nobody knows who Peter Parker is. So he knows to his memory, he helped Spider-Man. That's all he remembers, that he helped Spider-Man. He just doesn't know who Spider-Man is. But kind of going back to what you were saying, Keisha, about about Doctor Strange and whether he was being selfish regarding the snap and everything. If you remember back to the first Doctor Strange, and when the Ancient One was dying, and he went to visit her in the hospital. She was standing out on the balcony. She was watching the thunder. The thunder was moving in slow motion because she was trying to savor those last moments before she died. And she said, no matter how many futures I looked into, I could never see past this point. Which means that was her fixed point of death. So when Doctor Strange was in Infinity War, he looked at 14,600,000, however many realities. If he got to a point to where he couldn't see beyond that, as he has died, he couldn't see whether or not after he died, if they were able to stop Thanos. So there was no way that, maybe not to his own, to his own decision behind, to his own knowledge behind it, he just couldn't see beyond that. So he doesn't know if they survived or not. So any situation that he could see that they survived was one that he had to survive in.
Look at you. Okay. Get a job with the TVA.
Hey, let me borrow your quantum pad so I can open the door. Make sure it's charged though. I need to go into some of these apocalyptic moments.
But even still, to your point, I still feel like that if he was able to see beyond that, if it was, if it did allow him to see beyond his own death, I still feel like he was the type of person at that point to still want to. Yeah, he's not gonna be the one to sacrifice himself, because he said it himself when he was on. They were on the ship going to Titan. He said, if it comes down to you or the kid or the stone, I'm picking the stone every time. I'm going to do what it takes to preserve the stone. So I think that he was still of that mindset. Like you said, he's a bit different now that he's lived through all these things. But I think at that point he was still like, I'm going to do what I can to try to help save the universe, but not at the expense of my own life. I don't think he was that self-sacrificing. I still don't think he's that self-sacrificing that he's willing to give up his own life to save, for the greater good. Like at the beginning of the movie with Defender Strange taking America's powers, she's like, "You're killing me," and he's like, "Well, it's for the greater good." He's willing to kill someone else for the greater good, but I don't think he's willing to die for that greater good.
But and also America Chavez coming to the realization that taking her power might have been the best thing, because in the beginning she wasn't at that point either. Right. She's like, I don't want to die. Yeah. And Strange coming to the point that it's like, okay, well, we might not have to do this. We could figure out a different way. But still, I was not impressed with her at all. Her little star-shaped portals. Oh my God, I'm just. Over
at least I thought the star-shaped portals did look good. Like in the comics, it's like a perfect star. It's just like a cookie cutout in space. That's what they look like in the comic books. But I like the way that they did it to where it was like the universe was actually shattering. It just happened to shatter in like a star-shaped pattern. But I thought that the way that they animated that, I thought that was done pretty well in the movie.
Yeah, pretty good CGI on this one. I mean, I love when they were flipping through dimensions or universes.
I know, to see them in a cartoon and as paint, that was actually kind of cool.
The paint one tripped me out. I was like, what is really going on?
Yeah.
And that's what you want from a Doctor Strange trip, right? I mean, we all been on a bad trip before, so he said. So then he threw up, and I thought that was funny because
it was really funny.
It was like, oh, I'm supposed to throw up. And she's like, oh, yeah, fine. Nope.
But you think about it, it's not his first trip to the multiverse, because
she was thinking he'd be fine.
Yeah, that's and the
Ancient One plucked him in the forehead and knocked him through multiverse.
That's why he got that eye opening now, because he done did something, got something loose, and now the eye.
I thought it was because he was messing with the dead, the dead things.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm just saying crazy.
No?
Yeah, messing with the dark hole. That's what we're so not
he had no business reading.
Because the other guy with the third eye, he was the one guarding the dark hole and messing with those. So I figured it had some correlation with one of the two things. I don't know how that works.
Right.
Clearly, Doctor Strange has an issue with not being the Sorcerer Supreme. He is big jealous that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme.
I did like that he did the bow though at the end.
Yeah.
Because Wong deserves all his flowers.
Wong actually came through with us. We can't call him Son of a Rock because legal terms, but the octopus monster. He came through.
Gigantos.
Yeah, we have to call him Gigantos because legal. He came through being a badass, right?
Yeah.
Way better than what happened in Shang-Chi fighting. When he was fighting.
I mean,
name?
It
was Shang-Chi when he was
fighting.
to Shang-Chi's defense. Oh, you're talking about when he was fighting Abomination in the cage. Oh, I thought you were talking about when Shang-Chi fighting a dragon at the end. No, and see, I still don't know. I think in that cage match, I think that was like a planned thing. I think Wong was pulling punches. I think he took a dive. I don't know. And still to this day, we don't know what was going on with that fight. We don't know exactly why Wong and Abomination were fighting in Madripoor.
Yeah, and you're the supreme. I don't think that's something that you should be doing.
Yeah, and it's
how
like
is that saving reality? Like, what's going on? I'm
we don't know.
about that.
And I'm hoping at some point we get an answer to it because we don't know why Wong was in Madripoor fighting Abomination in the cage match. We don't know where Wong went when he was in Spider-Man No Way Home and he just opened up a portal and he took his briefcase and he was out. We don't know where he went. We don't know what Wong is up to.
We can't trust none of these soldiers. These wizards without hats are out here just doing whatever they want to do. Oh my goodness.
They do need supervision. They need somebody to keep tabs on.
Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Was it super Spider?
Yes, it was super. Yes, it was super in the sense of it was a great movie. It showcased just how powerful Wanda is. We've seen bits and pieces. We saw in Endgame how Wanda was just about to clap Thanos. Immediately, she was about to just strangle the life out of him. We saw her fending. We saw her in Infinity War fending off Thanos where no one else could. Thanos was going through the rest of the Avengers one-handed because she was focused on trying to, just unfortunately kill Vision so that he wouldn't get the Mind Stone, but she was fending him off with one hand. She is powerful, and this movie just showcased not even, like we said, not even the extent of her power, but it showcased exactly how powerful that she is. There's nothing that we have seen so far in the MCU that could even come close to stopping her, other than, like we said, herself. And
is Wanda dead? Wanda dead?
No, Wanda's not dead. Wanda's not dead.
Not at all.
So who's going to get her?
Nobody. I think she's just gone back to some type of isolation. I think that White Vision might seek her out because White Vision does still have the memories of original Vision. So I think that White Vision might seek her out.
Is that a WandaVision Part 2?
Possibly.
Could work, yeah.
I'm here for it.
But is it super? I say yes, it is super. Yeah, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is super.
Keisha, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Wanda and all her chaos magic. Is it super?
I thought Wanda was super.
Wanda was super.
Wanda was super.
I stand for Wanda. I think the movie was a Scarlet Witch movie. It was just awesome. And in honor of Mother's Day, it just shows you the extent a woman will go for her children. She was completely unhinged. She was completely distraught. The fact that they were in another universe, what kind of crazy that is? Like, these kids that you didn't give birth to, and you're trying to, take a bus to a different universe to go get your kids that you don't even have. And so it was really wonderful seeing that play out on the big screen. We saw a little bit in WandaVision, but actually see the extent that she would go through, and that we had so many super people, and she just murked them all.
What the
They were just
Ran through Ran
yes,
through
like it was nothing, and that's because she was dream walking.
Yeah, that wasn't even her full power.
Dream walking.
It was not even her. It was not even the Scarlet Witch. It was just awesome. It was just super. I just loved it, as you can tell.
Do you think that she would have killed herself just to take over?
Yes, and that's what Dr. Strange asked her. What would have happened to that Wanda that was in that universe? She didn't even respond because yes, I think her plan was to
eliminate that Wanda and take
place.
her place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that was her intent.
To see Wanda fight Wanda.
Right? I thought we were gonna get that. I really did. I'd love to see her whoop her own ass. That would have been awesome. That would have been super.
I don't think that would have been an entirely different budget. Whatever the budget was for this movie, they would have had to double that for a Wanda versus Wanda fight.
Right?
That would have been an incursion right there.
Yeah.
It would have been.
Realities would have been collided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would love to see more of Erica Chavez's powers but this actress and whatever her direction was and it just wasn't it for me, but I would love to see more of her and how she grows. But I feel like the introduction, the rest of the movie just stole from it, but I could see it potentially being super, but right now it wasn't it for me.
Let me just take a side note before I jump into Michelle and ask if this movie was super. What are we doing with the Young Avengers? Clearly they're going to have the ability to jump universes, multiverses,
right?
Because America Chavez is on the team. Are we jumping multiverses to try to fight Kang? Because and again, this is just my opinion, so don't come for me in the comments. I don't think the Young Avengers are skilled enough to take on Kang, the Conqueror.
to say that they're not even a team yet.
Exactly.
Because you think about who all we currently have for the Young Avengers. We have America Chavez. We've had Isaiah Bradley's grandson introduced, where he's going to be a young patriot. Yeah. And who else do we have? We have Speed and Wiccan. We have Wanda's kids. If they come back and be a part of the Young Avengers, we have the. There was a mention of Amadeus Cho's mother in Avengers Age of Ultron. Dr. Cho is the mother of Amadeus Cho. Yeah, Hulkling will be coming. So we still have so many.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be in She-Hulk.
Yeah, probably. So, but we still have so many characters for the Young Avengers that have yet to be introduced, or not even be introduced, but yet to have a realization of what their role will be in a Young Avengers. So I think that we are far, far off from having any type of Young Avengers property. So I don't think it's going to come to fight Kang. I think there'll be like another big bad somewhere down the line in the future of the MCU before we actually see the Young Avengers formed and actually come together to face any threat.
Will Miles Morales be in the Young Avengers? Will he come from the Secret Wars where the incursion happens?
That's depending on what Sony does. Because whatever property happens, the prevailing theory is that
he's in the MCU. He was already in the MCU.
Yeah, he's in the MCU.
I got a little excited seeing Doctor Strange and America Chavez in like cartoon form, like animated form, because that's exactly where I went to. Like, I thought immediately of Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse.
The Easter eggs up there with Jamie Foxx hitting. I thought there would be a Black Spider-Man, and then you got a little bit of the Spider-Verse animation into the Multiverse of Madness. We'll see. Michelle, was this movie super? Let's go ahead.
It was super.
Oh,
it was super. And I want to say one of my favorite scenes was when the two Doctor Stranges fought each other with the music notes and all that.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
No, we talk about that, and that was one of my favorite scenes. Like, even Spider knew, he saw me go giddy and all that when they started doing it. Like, not gonna lie, it was pretty cool because it's like you usually see them using their powers like the typical way, and being able to see them use it in this different way with music notes and just throwing it at each other and shit. It was really cool. But yes, no, the movie was definitely super.
I like the end shit part. That's my part.
Well, Mr. VIP Frankie Washington, it falls to you. We already have 3 out of 4 on our panel said that this movie is super. Do you think at Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Was it super? For our audio listeners, he had to take a drink out of his cup.
It was super. It was very super. I don't like the fact that Doctor Strange played backseat in his own movie, but against Wanda, the most powerful entity, whether you want to call her a mutant or not, in the MCU, you're not going to win that fight. I'm sorry. You're going to need somebody like the one above all, or somebody that's at that level. Maybe Adam Warlock, perhaps, because you just need a cosmic force. I don't even think Galactus could actually win against Wanda. That's just my opinion. You can come from me. We can talk about it in the comments. But other than Doctor Strange playing second fiddle in his own movie, pretty darn super. Graphics, boom. Storyline, I understand the origin story of America Chavez. It is somewhat taken from the comic books, not exactly. I love the fact that she was scared and she kind of activated her powers. I think I felt
like the fact that she was scared of a bee, and that's what kind of drove it. It was just.
But she was like, a kid.
Yeah, I understand that, but
I don't want to get stung by a bee either. They could have did a better job on the CGI of the bee, but other than that, that bee looked like. But maybe that's how bees look in that universe. So
maybe I don't know. Maybe.
What I'm saying is, after 70-something jumps, you, like Michelle said, you should have some type of idea on how you've been scanned 73 times. Like, you should know how your powers work somewhat. Plus, you're just stealing food from everybody.
Pretty much. Every universe you go to, you're just getting pizza. Just pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza Papa. Pizza Papa punching himself in the face for 3 weeks. Shout out to Bruce Campbell, though. Shout out to Bruce Campbell in his cameo in the movie. I know Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are good friends, starting all the way back from Ash versus the Evil Dead, going through the original Spider-Man trilogy, with Bruce Campbell making a cameo in all of them. But yeah, shout out to Bruce Campbell as Pizza Papa. I mean, the fact that was a cameo and you got to punch yourself in the face over and over again. I mean, a nod, having to fight your own hand. Again, a nod back to Ash versus the Evil Dead for any of those who's not familiar with the property. But, I mean, I liked it, but then it just kind of went on for a little bit too long.
Yeah.
This is true. Because...
But now I want a pizza ball.
Same.
Those pizza balls did look pretty damn good.
They were. It looked really good. I was like, why is this not a thing?
Somebody, because who was that? Little Caesars did their promotion for Batman, where they had like the bat-shaped pizzas.
Calzone thing. Yeah.
The bat-shaped calzone. Somebody's got to do a pizza ball for Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they need to.
And have it ready at the theater, because that sounds like the perfect food to take into the theater to see Doctor Strange.
That would be. It would be.
We're also salty that AMC had the Doctor Strange popcorn bucket, but we didn't have anything like that up here. We had the Morbius metallic cup, but like that's it. They
can't give away those Morbius cups at that theater.
No, they're trying so hard to sell them, and they're just still.
I don't want to even drink water out of it. It's okay. So at the end of the movie, Charlize Theron shows up and opens up portals in reality and say, "Hey, DS, Doctor Strange. You made an incursion. Let's go fix it." What are we looking for Doctor Strange coming in Doctor Strange 3? Yes, I'm throwing it out there already.
I love that he was cool with his third eye. Like, he was just comfortable with it. I love that.
Yeah.
From the previous scene where he was kind of like, you know.
Right. That's my only thing is just the jump. It's like you introduce, apparently we're getting the idea that because he used the Darkhold, he got whatever side effect from the Darkhold. He was just like literally just came out of the sanctum, walking down the street, chilling, got a migraine, fell in the street, third eye popped open. And we're like, okay, what the hell is going on? So it
Yeah.
cuts,
Right.
and it cuts. You're like, all right, so that's gonna go into Doctor Strange 3 or whatever. We go through our initial credits, get to the mid-credit scene, and then Charlize Theron comes in again. Doctor Strange bebopping down the street. He's calm. He's chill. Next thing you know, Charlize Theron comes in. You created an incursion. Are you going to help? Third eye pops up. We're like, okay, so what happened in between that last scene and this scene? Now you're all okay with it? It's not a problem.
Right.
Or is this a different Doctor Strange?
You're just screaming in the middle of the street, and just, you know what I'm saying?
So,
all this attention going on.
Is that the same Doctor Strange, or is this a different Doctor Strange that caused an incursion? But now both have a third eye.
I need more Loki. Bring Tom Hiddleston back.
That was the thing too. I don't know if y'all have it down there, but like up here for our movie theaters because we have Cineplex up here. But when you go to click the movie and buy the tickets, like they usually have the starring cast and all that. They had Tom Hiddleston in the starring cast, and so everyone's like, "Oh my God, Loki's gonna be in it." And I'm watching the movie. I'm like, where the fuck is Loki gonna come in all this?
Was not in it. They lied to us.
They lied.
I need them to stop that. Listen, a lot of stuff going on. I like the fact that we're getting this dream walking. I like that's going to be a big thing, apparently. I like the fact that we're multiverse jumping. We're clearly coming up to Secret Wars or Battle World or the Beyonders powers, and I'm here for all of it. At the same time, Marvel, I don't need any more new characters. Like, I already know. You can stop right there at Blade and just tell the story now, because you keep introducing all of these new characters, and it's not superhero fatigue. It's just, I don't care about all these new people. Just give me a story with the people that I have now, then bring in some more new people. Like, we getting all these introductions to America Chavez and Patriot and Speed and Wiccan and Kate Bishop. I like Kate Bishop. But all these other people, and again, you're pulling our attention away from the actual what's going on. It's like, oh, by the way, this person is here. Because we still are introducing more characters. We got the X-Men coming. Silver Surfer's coming. Deadpool's coming. You know that. That's not an introduction, but it's almost like a reintroduction.
Right.
And we got all these other Venomous here now. And it's just, I understand we're expanding, but I think we're losing substance in the expansion.
Yeah, no,
That's just my opinion.
I agree. No, and it's like, because you think about the way that the MCU was formulated back in 2008 with the original Iron Man movie, and you spent 10 years. You spent 10 years and you introduced pretty much just a handful of characters for the most part, right? And so those characters got origin stories. They got origin movies. But now with the expansion of the Disney Plus TV shows, we're looking into having origin TV shows versus origin movies, because Moon Knight got a TV show. She-Hulk's going to get a TV show. Miss Marvel's getting a TV show. So instead of putting this well-developed story, this emotional story into a movie, we're putting in a 6, 8, 10 episode miniseries where we're focusing on this small concentrated threat versus having this character face something that's larger, right? So you had Iron Man come in and he has to face, Ironmonger in the beginning of the movie. So we saw Tony Stark's development from this weapons dealer into having this life-altering event where he's changing his mindset, he's changing his ideals to where now he wants to become a hero. Thor was the same way. Arrogant, cocky, brash, full of himself. He has a life-changing event. So we're seeing these developmental arcs in these movies, and now we're getting all of these extra characters. Like, America's life-altering arc was she believes in herself now. So, like, now she realized her power because she believed in herself, and and it's kind of.
This is why my wife hate Captain Marvel. You hate America Chavez too.
I don't like her.
But
sorry.
So we're getting all these extra characters that are introduced in support of these main characters that have already been established, and so like you're saying, is that it's a lot to take in, because we're still enjoying this movie, this Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Wanda is headliner. This movie is about Wanda and her struggle trying to get her kids back. Doctor Strange, second fiddle, he's making sure that the universe he's in a way. He's an obstacle. He's a speed bump that Wanda is driving over, but he's the protector of the multiverse, so he's trying to save everything. You got Wong, who's already established. You have all of these different cameo characters that people are already familiar with from prior studio properties in association with Marvel. But even with Maria Rambeau and Captain Carter from What If, and Maria coming from the Captain Marvel movie. But then you're introducing someone who's brand new in America Chavez, and she's so far down the list that how can we care about her when we have all this other stuff going on right now? You know, and not only was there the plot of Wanda trying to get her kids, plot of Doctor Strange trying to save everybody. There's the plot of Wong trying to make sure that the sorcerers are safe at Comertage. There's the Illuminati. There's Mordo coming back. There's Doctor Strange and Christine trying to reignite their love across different multiverses. Then all the way down at the bottom, we got America trying to believe in herself. So we have to filter through all of this stuff to try to get her to develop and understand the story and care about this person. And
she got a weak ass punch.
And she got a weak ass punch. But like you said, no, we know we're getting Blade. Cut it off at Blade. Let Blade be that last new character that's being introduced, and let's just hold it at there. And then we'll develop these stories, and then potentially we'll just figure out where we go from there into our next Avengers level movie. Let's develop these characters that we have, and then we can build it up from there.
Dr. Doom's coming in Armor Wars.
Yeah.
You'll see him in Armor Wars. He's gonna get his armor from somewhere in there. Oh, I said too much. Sorry.
I'm just my mic's falling apart on me. But no. You're good. Yeah, you're right. I would say that Dr. Doom would be a great villain, but if you're going to introduce Dr. Doom, you have to introduce the Fantastic Four. We have to figure out how the Fantastic Four are going to be introduced into the MCU. And at this point, if everything that happened in Universe 838 or 858, I forget the number of the universe that they were in with the Illuminati, if everything in that universe is canon, then for one, we know that there's a Reed Richards out there somewhere else in another universe, because obviously there was another Mordo, there was another Captain Carter outside of the universe, because they went, I wish they didn't, because it was already established that the MCU for the movies was not Universe 616. The comic book universe was Universe 616. Now they've introduced the MCU universe. They retconned it to where the MCU universe is 616, which I wish they wouldn't have done, because now it's going to cause all kinds of confusion. But at some point, somewhere in another universe, there's another Reed Richards, there's a Fantastic Four somewhere else. So are we going to then introduce other characters, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom, X-Men? Are we going to have these movies introduced just as being as a part of another universe and not overlap over into the MCU? That way we can have their own self-contained storylines. We can have Fantastic Four and X-Men in the same universe, where we can have mutants appearing, or we can have mutants already existing, and we don't have to retcon the fact that we went through almost 14 years, 4 phases of not having mutants, and all of a sudden mutants are here now. And so if you establish that movie in another universe, then you could say, okay, mutants have always existed in this universe, so we can go ahead and just move forward with that storyline.
Yeah, but why do I want to leave my universe to come to your universe? I already exist in my universe. So the incursion has to happen, and if you're going to bring them in after the incursion, it's like it makes sense, but at the same time, does it? Because they weren't here, and now they are here. And how does that backstory plays into part of this universe? Or does it at all? But
I don't know.
That's a conversation for another episode. Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Go see it if you haven't seen it. If you were listening to this and you still want to see it, which you should, go see it.
There's honestly a lot of stuff that we haven't even touched on. There are a lot of things that we didn't even talk about. So there's some parts of it.
There's a cover up. There's a whole cover up of someone they killing Doctor Strange, and they covered it up, and Doctor Strange,
And
the
double
third
kill
eye
over
got impaled by like. There's just so much cool
there's
shit
so much
that we
more
didn't
to
even
go
touch
see.
on.
Yeah. But
Oh
we
my
also
goodness.
want to know your opinions. If you've seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and you have your opinions, if you agree with anything that we've said, if you disagree with anything that we've said, if you have your prevailing theories,
Bring it! I'm ready. Come in the comments. I'm ready to have that comment. No,
don't threaten the audience. But if you have any prevailing theories of what you think is going to happen next in the MCU, leave it in the comments. And again, if you like this video, go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, get notifications so you can know whenever a new video comes up. If you want to listen to the podcast or you follow the podcast, you can find us on all of our podcast streaming services across the world. You can find us on Twitter, on social media at ATSuperPod. You can tweet at us if you want to know anything more about what we think about this movie, any other properties that we reviewed, and just want to get in touch with us and kind of pick our brain about things. But to everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you all. It's always wonderful to have you all and guesting on the show. You all provide a lot of insight and a lot of wonderful opinions, and it's greatly appreciated. Happy to have you here.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. But until next time, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all in the next episode.